Right, we're here today in Glasgow in the Scotia Bar, and right behind me here is the Declaration of Arbroath. It was signed by our ancestors on the 6th of April 1320. This declaration was done years after the Battle of Bannockburn of 1314 to declare that Scotland was an independent nation. The Declaration of Independence of America is actually based on the Declaration of Arbroath. Today in America, there are going to be thousands of Americans of Scottish descent marching in New York to celebrate the Scottishness. Unfortunately, here in Scotland, hardly anybody is aware of Scotland's history, and this event basically is being ignored here in Scotland under the British system. Sean is now going to read an extract from the Declaration of Independence of 1320, and then I'm going to read the Declaration of Glasgow, which was done on the 6th of April last year at the Cannon Street steps with 100 Scottish patriots. So first of all, Sean's going to give us the Declaration of Arbroath of 1320.
Right, Sean Clerkin from Scottish Resistance in Action for Scotland. I'm going to read the Declaration of Scottish Independence, the Declaration of Arbroath, 6th of April 1320. By the divine providence, the right of succession, by the laws and customs of the kingdom of the Scots, which we will defend till death, and due and lawful consent and assent of all the people, made Robert Bruce our King. To him we are obliged and resolved to adhere to all things, both on account of his right and on his own merit, as being the people's safety and defence of their liberties. But after all, if this prince shall leave these principles we hath so nobly pursued, and consent that we or our kingdom be subjected to the king or people of England, we will immediately endeavour to expel him as our enemy and as the subverter both of his own and our rights, and will make another king, and will defend our liberties. For so long as there remain but 100 of us alive, we will never subject ourselves to the dominion of the English. For it is not glory, it is not riches, neither is it honours, but it is liberty alone that we fight and contend, for which no honest man will lose but with his life. I would just like to say that, we say that today, this is the 6th of April, the anniversary, and the fact is that we're in the middle of a historical period in Scottish history at the moment, and I believe that we should be heading for Scottish independence, that we should be heading for a second referendum with Scottish independence, and this is a reminder of Scotland's great historical tradition as an independent nation. And as we march towards independence, the fact is that this week in particular we saw Westminster cut bereavement grants from poor people. We saw them instigate the employment support allowance cut of nearly £30 a week. We've seen them take away child benefit for children, 3 and 4 children. In other words, there's cuts galore going on all over it, and Westminster's responsible for all of this. This is the time, this is the place, and we must have Scottish independence.
Well, thanks very much, Sean. I'm now going to read the Declaration of Glasgow. This declaration was done at the Cannon Street steps on the 6th of April last year. There was 100 patriots there which signed the Declaration of Glasgow, including people like Tommy Sheridan. So I'm just going to read this just now, the Declaration of Glasgow. We, the people of Scotland, solemnly declare that we will never give up the fight for Scotland's freedom. James Scott, founder of the Scottish Resistance; Thomas Sheridan, founder of Solidarity Scotland; Donald Anderson, co-founder of the Scottish Republican Socialist Movement; Sean Clerkin of the Scottish Resistance, and 100 signatories in total. Now, this document was also sent to world leaders all over the world to let them know that we are never going to give up the fight for Scotland's independence, and it reads as follows. We appeal to the United Nations Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, the President of the United States of America at the time, Barack Hussein Obama, the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, the Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, the President of France, Francois Hollande, and other world leaders. We appeal to all the people of planet Earth who believe in freedom, justice, and equality for all. For 1,000 years, our nation of Scotland was free. Romans, Vikings, Anglo-Saxons attacked our land, but none could subdue us by force. Such was the determination of our people to fight for the right to be free. The Westminster Imperialists, unable to subdue Scotland by force, offered bribes to the members of the Scottish Parliament, and in 1707, against the wishes of the vast majority of Scots, our nation was absorbed into a political union, thereby reducing Scotland to the state of a conquered country. Then horrors of murder, rape, and ethnic cleansing against our people began. Our people who opposed the injustice of foreign rule were severely dealt with. Our people were massacred at Culloden, and all men, women, children in the area were murdered on orders of the Duke of Cumberland. The Imperialists then cleared the people from the Highlands of Scotland to make way for sheep. Any who resisted were killed. The Scots were exiled from their own land and sent to live in the United States of America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and many other lands worldwide. After this clearing of our highlands, our people were forced to conform to the British imperialist system. Many of our men were enlisted into the British Army and sent overseas where they helped the imperialists murder, rape, and exploit and subdue other lands. The Scottish people sincerely apologise for the wrong that we have done under the direction of the British imperialists. Our Scottish soldiers were used as frontline troops in all of their imperial wars. They even put in writing that our people, that is the people of Scotland, were expendable. Despite the atrocities, the horror suffered, our people have never given up the fight to regain our nation's freedom. Many of the world's greatest inventors have been Scots. Television, telephone, tar macadam for the roads, tyres, postage stamps, to name a few, were all invented by Scots. It is the right of all nations to be free. This is what we ask, and as such we quote from our ancestors below, the Declaration of Arbroath of 1320. For as long as 100 of us remain alive, never will we in any condition be subjected to the lordship of the English. It is in truth not for glory, not for riches, nor honours that we are fighting, but for freedom alone, which no honest man gives up but with life itself. We, the Scottish people, still seek justice. Our land is still under the rule of Westminster, the centre of the world's most evil empire, an empire responsible for a staggering death toll of over 2 billion people. This evil must be ended for the good of humanity as a whole. They continue to control all of our media, television and newspapers. They continue to implant fears in the minds of our people. This was most evident during the Scottish independence referendum September 2014. They frightened our people with threats of losing their jobs, unemployment, or losing the money from their bank accounts should they vote for independence. Many question the result of the referendum and have good reason to believe it was rigged. In Scotland during this time, we witnessed in action what we believe was the biggest propaganda machine in the history of mankind. We implore you, if you believe in justice and human rights, to give us your support and help us to free us from British imperialism. We conclude that we need freedom, justice and equality for Scotland. We recognise that all other nations are deserving of the same. We hope that one day all nations will be free from oppression and war, which will eventually lead to world peace. As signed and witnessed by 100 Scottish patriots in Glasgow, Scotland on the 6th day of April 2016. Thank you.